Hello guys, welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture we're gonna see some of the errors in Python. So let me just jump on to the first one, which is the syntax error. So what is a syntax error? So in Python, if we do not follow a particular structure, so it will give rise to a syntax error. So let me just take an example, which is a equal to 2 and if a less than 1, let me just print hello, else let me just print welcome. So this is a simple program, so you'll find no logic over here, so this is just for your example. So there you go with the syntax error. So it returns syntax error, invalid syntax. Also it gives us the hint over here, so there's something wrong in this particular line of code, which is else, and also it returns us the line, which is the line 5. So it says there's something wrong over here. I'm not able to understand that particular line of code. So if you just go there, you'll find a missing colon over there, and if you just check the output, it returns the answer. So this is all about the syntax error. Now moving on to the next, which is the indentation error. So this is the indentation error. So before jumping onto that, let me just triple quote them. So moving on to the indentation error, I'm going to use the same example. So let me just copy them and let me just paste it. So in this, let me just do a small change and let me check the output. There you go. It returns indentation error, expected and indented block. Also, it gives us the hint, which is there's something wrong in this line of code, which is print welcome. Also, it returns the line number, which is 14. So it says there's something wrong. So let's give a tab spacing over there, so which is the indentation error. So there'll be a space missing. There you go, we have the answer. So this is about the indentation error. Now moving on to the next, which is the third one, the zero division error. So this error you would have seen in the previous lectures. So anyway, let me just take it, which is print. So I would like to divide a number by 0. So in real-time mathematics, you'll find that anything divided by 0, it returns infinity. I mean, we know that it's infinity. Whereas in Python, if you just give 8 divided by 0 or anything divided by 0, it returns a zero division error, which means it cannot divide by 0. So this is about the zero division error. Now moving on to the next, which is, so let me just give the fourth one. So what is the fourth one? The fourth one is the module error. So what is a module error? So in the previous lecture I would have told you that you can import a module like this, import math and print math.py, and let me just check the output. There you go, I have the value of pi. So what if I give some other module name, which is known as mathematics? Can it return the value of pi? Oops, there's a module not found error, which means there's no module named mathematics. So this is the module not found error. So now moving on to the next. So you cannot use your own modules. So if you want to use your own modules, you have to create them. So moving on to the next error, which is the type error. So what is a type error? So let me just take a equal to 2 and let b be equal to pi. So let phi be a string and I would like to add them. So a plus b. Now if you just check the output, it returns type error unsupported operand type for plus int str, which means you cannot add a string and an integer, whereas you can add two strings or two integers, whereas you cannot add it this way. So let me just remove 5, let me just remove the quotes, and then if you check, you'll get the output. So this is about the type error. Now, so moving on to the sixth one, which is logic error. So what is a logic error? So in a logic error, you won't find any kind of errors in the output panel. Now let me just take an example, which is, let me take a equal to 2 and let me take b equal to 3, and I would like to add them, but instead of adding them, I've given the wrong operator and I've just checked the output. So then I'll be able to understand that instead of adding, I've given some other operator. So in this case, you're able to understand, but what about in this case, which is this? So if you add, you're going to get 4, and if you multiply, you're going to get 4. So how will you be able to identify it? So when you're using just 3 lines of code, it will be easy to identify, whereas if you're using 200 to 250 lines of code, so it will be a difficult task for you to understand or to identify where the error happens. So you have to be cautious in this particular error so that you'll be able to rectify them. So this is about the logic error, just the wrong operator or some misconceptions happening in the code, like you have given the wrong thing in the wrong part. So that's about the logic error. So that's it for this lecture. See you soon in the next lecture. Thank you.